So this has pretty much been a life dream of mine, because just when I started driving, this little cartoon came out, and I don't know, I wasn't into anime or anything at that point, but this anime came out with a bunch of guys driving these crazy mountain passes and racing and stuff, and it was kind of eye-opening, honestly, because it was like, oh hey, Japan exists. Well, I mean, I knew it existed at that point, but I didn't really know how cool it was on car culture. And I wasn't even into car culture really at that point. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, cars are cool, cars let me go places. But anyway, so this road has pretty much been on the bucket list for as long as I've been driving. And this is, in a way, one of those never meet your heroes kind of things, because there are so many other much cooler roads in Japan. Honestly, even the same road in the other direction, down from the lake, down the backside of the mountain, is a lot gnarlier than this one here is. But I also really like driving mountain passes, and really kind of all over the world now, and you know, I like the gnarly, twisty, tight stuff. This is a lot more. If you were to race, this would be a great place to race because it's wide enough to actually get a pass done. Some of the roads I prefer, they would really work a lot better as a rally road or something like that, where like there's no way a pass is happening because they're barely a car wide anyway. So this is a really cool road, and unfortunately the speed limits are the speed limits in Japan, and they are not really negotiable. So taking it very easy, staying on my side of the road. Also, it's damp, it's you know, other traffic, daylight, not trying to do anything interesting, not trying to get sideways, not trying to mess with the rent-a-car, you know, just trying to stay calm and, you know, enjoy the view. It really is quite steep in places, and in other places it's a little bumpy already, and then there are some places where they actually put in intentional speed bumps, like these whoops that are I guess designed to make sure nobody comes flying in there. They're not like speed bumps to the point where you have to crawl over them, but they are to the point where you don't want to go fast over them. And for those wondering from the cartoon, I don't think the gutter run thing is feasible, honestly. Just because I don't think any modern car with any kind of normal ride height that isn't a monster truck would get out of those gutters afterwards. See, they're kind of deep. You can see them off the side here. The other thing that's really awesome in Japan is the drivers are very good. They're very aware, and you'll see in a second this little K truck, which is, it's funny, this truck is half the size of the gr86 that I'm driving. So this little K truck is gonna kind of notice me in a couple of turns and actually kind of let me go off the side because he wants to go slower than I do. I don't know why he's going below the speed limit, but that's his choice. That's his. The road in front of him is his road. It's up to him if he wants to give it up or not. So yeah, so he's yielding, which is really, really super awesome of him. See? And we can go around him a little bit and kind of continue down our way. Really cool road, amazing views. You can kind of see across the valley to Akagi, which is basically on the other side of town. They're about an hour apart. They're not far apart, but you're going through a very congested town with really small roads. And unfortunately, this is one of those where, like, never meet your heroes kind of roads, because you know, if you're watching Initial D, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna go so fast down this road. I'm like, well, yeah, I would really like to, but I would also like to not end up in Japanese jail, and I would also like to not offend anybody. I would like to not annoy the locals. There's a really cool onsen town, like basically like hotels with hot springs at the bottom of it. And you know, this is just a tourist destination. This is not a racer destination. If anything, the racers are pissing off the tourists, so try to do as little of that as possible. And okay, speed limit goes down to even 30, and some warning signs that I have no idea how to read, but probably something along the lines of "Don't race, you stupid idiots." And then there's these whoops. So going over them at the speed limit, you know, they're just bouncy. It's not dangerous, but going fast would definitely be. So the 5 consecutive hairpins are no longer something that you could hit at speed if you wanted to, unless you were really into the bouncy thing. Also, in all these turns, there's these yellow stripes. They're not raised, but they are kind of offsetting the like jittering the car a little bit. So definitely not something that you would want to do at speed. But anyway, really fun scenery, really fun road. I really enjoyed driving it. It was also a lot shorter than I had expected, because like there are like on Akagi, the climb up, it takes forever. The backside of Akagi, which I really loved, I'm going to put up a video of it, is super technical, super narrow, and very long. Haruna, or Akina, if you are a D fan, we all love the D, initial D that is not very long at all. Like, even going slowly, it barely took 9 minutes to do from the parking lot to the town. And you know, it is a great road. There's a lot of elevation. It is not super difficult. I am sure at actual speed it would be, but there's room. There's room for error. There's room for a pass if that is what you're doing. There's room, you know, there's room to get sideways if that's what you're doing. Not that I'm telling you to, but if that were a thing, there are definitely some drift tire marks all over the place on this mountain. So somebody's still out there running it pretty hard, or some portions of it. And there's definitely like corners that open up to close up and so on. So going fast, you would absolutely have a challenge. But unfortunately, my preferred method of driving these roads now is at roughly the speed limit, staying in my lane, you know, the safe way, and just kind of sightseeing, enjoying it, and picturing what it was like at speed. Also, this is one of those roads that I've driven a lot in sim, and it's a lot harder in sim than it is in real life. That's kind of a funny one as well, because like in sim you can't see as much, and you can't kind of gauge your speed as well, and you know, there's a little less feedback, so it's harder in sim than in real life. In real life, it's, you know, very cool road, very fun road, not super challenging at the low speed limits. And here you can basically see I'm pulling into town, and that was my drive down Haruna, Road 33, or Akina.